Welcome back, students. So, in the first two modules, we have seen the introduction to characterization methods, the spectroscopic techniques, where we have seen the Raman, the FTIR, okay, and then we also saw the NMR spectroscopy, which are frequently encountered by chemical engineers nowadays. And then we moved to the module 2, where we discussed the different physical and chemical adsorption methods, chemisorption, physisorption. So, this current module 3 now, we are moving to module 3. This will actually pretty comprehensive. This will actually cover the interfacial properties and the rheological properties. You know, in chemical engineers, we are always interested in phases, different phases. So, when there are different phases and you have materials, so there are two things which comes to the mind is what are the interfacial properties. So, interfacial properties which we will study are recorded as in terms of surface tension, which you must be familiar with, and then the interfacial tension. These are very important terms and which we will be frequently using. And then we have the rheological properties. Rheological properties, you know, we need to know because since we are dealing with materials, how does this material behave, whether it flows or it does not flow, it behaves like a solid body, a elastic body, all these are quantifiable. So, all this quantification, the instrument, the rheometer, which is the instrument behind the rheological part, we will all discuss. In today's lecture, we will start with our surface tension. The first initial part of this module is the interfacial and the surface tension. So, we will start with surface tension, then we will go to the interfacial tension. So, the first lecture is now governed on the surface tension and its measurement. So, what will we study in this lecture? We will see what is surface tension, what definition of surface tension, and what is the equivalence between surface tension and surface energy. So, when we talk of these terms surface energy and surface tension, so how can they relate to each other? Okay. Then we have the how to calculate the surface tension. So, now calculation of surface tension without doing experiment is also possible. So, there are some correlations available by previous authors. So, some regression, they carried some regression analysis. So, sometimes you can also compute approximately surface tension from this correlation. Then what is the effect of temperature on surface tension? So, as you know, if you add up temperature, so different physical properties do change with time. So, those are we will discuss based on correlations only to the temperature effect on surface tension. Then how to measure, this is very important. The drop width method, how to measure surface tension, we will then see the Dunois ring method, Villemi-Plitt method. Then we also see what are the advantages, disadvantages of Dunois and the Villemi-Plitt methods. And then finally, the maximum bubble pressure method for dynamic surface tension, DST. We will talk about dynamic surface tension later, but the most widely used are these two, the Dunois ring method and the Villemi-Plitt method. Fine. So, this is what we will actually cover in the surface tension this lecture. So, now before we move to the surface tension, we see what is surface tension. Surface tension is the basic characteristics of gas liquid interface. The interface resembles a thin membrane with zero thickness. The interface, the liquid surface here is in contact with vapor. The molecules surrounding a molecule. So, molecules which are surrounding an individual molecule in a bulk liquid exert attractive forces in all directions. It has a almost uniform force field. Because the molecules in the vapor phase are widely distributed, the net pull towards the liquid bulk is considerably higher. Now, this is fine. Let us see from this figure what does that mean, whatever we have said here. It means the molecules, let us say it has a pure component. This is a pure component. So, the pure component at a particular temperature will have molecules in a liquid phase and the molecules in the vapor phase. Now, the molecules in the vapor phase which are here, they are loosely bound. So, they will not experience any attractive forces. Okay. So, they will move randomly and they will have translational energy. Fine. Now, the issue is then you have the liquid phase. In the bulk liquid phase, the liquid molecules have intermolecular interaction to be of highest order. Let us say this particular molecule. So, it is attracted in all direction equally. Okay. So, it means that potential energy is minimum. So, it is attracted heavily in all direction. So, same way in this one here also, it is attracted heavily in all direction. But that is not true for those atoms, or sorry, not atoms, for those molecules which are the surface. Now, if you see this surface, this is particular molecule, this polymer molecule, even though it is attracted equally by the molecule which is lying to the left and right and bottom, but there are no molecules which are lying on top of it. So, it means their energy is very high. So, it means they are attracted not equally, unlike the bulk molecule. So, it means that the energy or the particular force acting on those molecules which are on the surface will be different than those in the liquid phase or the vapor phase. So, if you assume this particular layer, this layer, if you see, it resembles a thin membrane with a zero thickness. So, this may be in the terms of gas liquid, or it may be in the terms of liquid liquid. Let us say you have two phases, liquid 1, liquid 2. So, this is the membrane, okay. This is the membrane of zero thickness, but this creation of this membrane is very important, because when you talk about gas and liquid, we usually refer to as surface tension, and when you talk about liquid liquid, two different liquid phases, we talk about interfacial tension, okay. So, this is we should have a distinction on when we discuss the surface tension or we discuss the interfacial tension. So, it means if I want to pull up any liquid on top to the surface, if I want to put this particular, let us say this liquid onto this surface, I need extra energy, I need energy from outside. So, it means I need higher energy, or I need a work to be done on these molecules, and if I put this molecule on the top surface, so I am creating an extra area. So, I am creating an extra area on the surface, okay. So, it means I am spending energy, and how much of this energy is spent when I bring this particular molecule onto the surface is what is actually called surface tension or surface energy. So, to increase the area of the surface, one must transport additional molecules from the liquid's bulk to its surface, so which requires additional energy. I suppose now you understand. So, you need additional energy from outside. It is similar like chemical potential, what you study in thermodynamics. What is chemical potential? It is how much of energy you require to bring a molecule from an infinite state to a particular point of the matter. So, the amount of energy spent, you know, it is defined as chemical potential, and from the chemical potential you actually derive the activity coefficient. Same way here, what is the amount of energy required to increase a area in a unit manner, a unit increase in area. So, that is actually resembling surface energy or surface tension. So, the greater the force exerted by the liquid, greater the work accomplished. It means more tightly the molecules are in the liquid phase, you will require higher and higher energy to provide it, so as to bring that particular molecule onto the surface. So, we define surface energy is the amount of work done by the amount of area exerted, which is nothing but force into distance is the work done divided by the area. What is the area exerted? So, it will units will be Newton into meter by meter square, it is Newton per meter. So, it is force exerted per unit length. So, this is what the figure is looks like. So, in this see there are two drops onto a surface, that is one is provided in this manner. So, it is we say it is a high surface energy, while this one is a low surface energy. So, bonding with this particular surface is difficult in this case, while bonding to this surface for this particular adhesive is easy, okay. Because why it is easy? See, it is easily spreading out, it is easily spreading out. So, it means the molecules can easily increase their area. So, the bonding is easy, while here it is very difficult. So, the bonding will be difficult onto the surface. So, it is not able to increase the area, okay. So, that is what we say surface tension is defined as the force acting perpendicular to any unit length line in the surface. So, surface tension is given by the formula force by distance. Higher the wetting surface, higher is the surface energy. Okay, higher the wetting surface, higher is the surface energy. Now, let us see from another example what is the relation or equivalence between surface tension and surface energy. So, here you have a liquid ABCD, this is a liquid ABCD, it is contained within a rectangular wire frame. Okay. Now, I want to boundary BC, this is the boundary BC. So, this boundary BC, let us say it is of length L. So, I suppose it is movable. So, if the border BC of the film is stretched by x, let us suppose it is stretched by x to a new location EF where gamma is the surface tension, then the force acting on the film is 2 gamma L. Why? Because film has two surface. So, one inside, this is the inside surface, another is outside surface. So, it means the area is twice of area, it has created area into what is the force? The force is nothing but twice of length, 2 times length on top of the film, length inside of the film in the bulk into the surface tension. Okay. So, mathematically you are doing some work. So, work done is there in increasing the surface energy. So, it means 2 times of the thickness into surface tension, multiply the work done, you multiply by delta x, that is the amount of displacement which you have actually executed from the this BC to EF. So, this distance is nothing but delta x. So, for work done you require some displacement, this is delta x, except this. So, if you see 2 times of delta x into L into 2 is nothing but some sort of change in the differential of area delta A. So, it is nothing but change in area. Change in area means inside and outside taken together, multiplied by the surface tension, you will get the total work done. So, here 2 into delta x is the change in the total surface, total area of the two sides of the film. Okay. So, the equivalence, what is the equivalence now between the surface tension and surface energy? It is nothing but surface tension is work done by the change of area. Surface tension is nothing but work done increasing the surface by delta A amount, okay, that is called surface tension. So, let us see what are the different surface tension values we have for acetic acid, acetone, aniline, benzaldehyde, benzene. Now, you see some values, benzene, this surface tension is 28.9, hexane is 18.4, mercury is 476. So, it means these values, if you see, it is 28.9 benzene is it is comparable with acetic acid, you can say. So, not much energy or you require, okay, to increase the surface energy. So, as you go higher and higher values, hexane also, to increase the unit surface area of the hexane surface, amount of energy. So, all these values you understand, this is the amount of energy you need to spend in order to create a unit surface area. So, the toughest will be to do it in mercury, easiest will be to do it in hexane. And the values which are in between, they are having like benzaldehyde, it will be aldehyde, it is pretty high, aldehydes are high. The water is 72.8. So, that is why you see this water to create a surface of a unit surface area, you require this amount of energy. So, these are all units are in millinewton per meter, and all the values are actually given in the book by Pallab Ghosh, which I have just now, it is a PHI publication. The book's name is this Introduction to Colloid and Interfacial Science. So, you have other compounds also, it is available. So, I have just given an excerpt of those particular components which are beneficial. So, it means that 72.8 water, and if you see water plus benzene, this and this, suppose you mix water and benzene together. So, if you mix these two, is it soluble? No, it is not soluble, okay, in each other. You know that very well, aromatic compounds are not soluble, neither hexane or this. Suppose you mix water with hexane or water with benzene. If it is not soluble, it means you will have a phase, okay, let us say you have a benzene phase, benzene is lighter, it will be above, this is water phase. So, then you will have two liquid phases L1 L2, then this particular portion will give us the interfacial tension. Now, this is different from surface tension. The issue is interfacial tension will depend upon the temperature. So, these temperatures are all at 298 Kelvin. Now, at this 298.15 Kelvin, these particular values, if you work up, mix these two values, the interfacial tension of benzene water system at this temperature will be somewhere in between the values of 28.9 and 72.8. So, this interfacial tension will somewhere between the values of 28.9 and 72.8. Okay. So, this is what you have. Now, these are two different things. Okay. So, issue is now we cannot say which one will be soluble in all, because we know that alcohol is soluble in water, but you have different values of surface tension. Surface tension, let me remind you, does not tell about the solubility. It is just because for solubility you need other things also, you need to have a interaction chemically similar molecules, then only you can do solubility. Fine. Now, there are many methods of calculation of surface tension. One of them is the Paracore method. Paracore method means it breaks the molecule into several groups. So, how is it written? The formula is written something like this. This is the Paracore volume, and rho L is the density in the liquid phase and rho V density in the vapor phase, m is the molecular mass raised to the power of 4. Now, this Paracore volume in the same book of Dr. Pallab Ghosh, which is called as an interfacial science, they have given this Paracore volume of various groups. So, this is given using this formula. So, I assume you neglect the density of the formula. In the density, you know what you do is you assume this to be 0, the liquid phase, vapor phase density is to be 0. So, then this takes the form as given. Okay. So, the Paracore is nothing but molar volume of the liquid phase, because you have density by molecular mass, I am writing as molar volume of the liquid phase into surface tension raised to the power of 1 by 4. So, Paracore, what you do is, if you have some molecule, you break them into individual species, and each species is having a Paracore comparative volume. You add that up, you get the total Paracore volume. If you have this Paracore volume, insert it, rho L you know, molecular mass you know, you get the surface tension. So, what does this Paracore volume means? The Paracore volume means that when liquids have the same surface tension, comparing the Paracores is similar to comparing their molar volumes. If two liquids have same surface tension, so their Paracore volume are comparable to their molar volumes. So, these are different Paracore volumes is given on kg to the power of 1 by 4 meter cube second to the power of minus half. So, these are different values, the carbon atom, hydrogen, methyl group, CH2 when methyl group is in this, all these values are given, different groups are there, then benzyl group, then acid group, ketone group, alcohol group, amine group, nitro group, all these things, amide group, like this, 7 things are there. So, if you see this sulfur, phosphorus, fluorine, chlorine, all these are given in this particular book. So, you can have this PHI book has the reference of all these values. Again, this is only a part which I am showing you. You can go through this, it will be much more clear when we do some from problems. The problems will be very easy to understand, so how to compute the surface tension and what is the significance of these values. Let us see, we will take one problem of this and two elementary problems. Now, the first problem is you estimate the surface tension of ethyl alcohol. Okay. Estimate the surface tension of ethyl alcohol at 298 Kelvin using the Paracore data. So, the table which I have shown you in the earlier slide, you use that and a temperature of T equal to 298 and compute the surface tension. What you do is that in this case, what you do is you write the expression, you know the expression as surface tension is equal to the Paracore volume, the rho L, because I have ignored this vapor densities I have ignored. So, do not confuse between these two symbols, this is Paracore volume, this is density symbol by m, this is 4, okay, to the power of 4, fine. So, if you do that, so for ethyl alcohol, you know this you need the rho L value. So, rho L value is, you find out, this is 800 kg per meter cube, this you know from literature. Now, what you do is, after this you compute the values. Okay. So, the para-core volume here is a summation of the para-core of the individual. So, what it is, the individual listing is CH3, CH2 and CO and OH. So, this is nothing but equal to 9.869 plus 7.113. I will tell you these values, what are these, the previous table I have shown you, and then you have 5.299. Okay. This you have to add up together and multiply by 10 to the power of minus 6. So, you will get here the total para-core volume is 22.281. So, this is the total para-core volume. Okay. Now, if you see from the previous table just 9.8697113, just go to the previous slide. I am going to the previous slide and coming back then again. See 9.869 is somewhere, see we said that ethanol has 3 groups. First is the methyl group, it is 9.869. Then what we have is the ethyl group, CH3, CH2, COH. CH2, you know, this 7.113. This is CH2 group because N is less than 12. Then we have the OH group. Here it is the OH group. What I did is nothing but you just added up all these values. Okay, this one, this one, this one. You added up values because it is into the power of 10 to the power of 6. So that is why these values I have added up. So this is what we get. Now just plug in these values, you will get the surface tension. So if you plug in these values, it is 22.281 into 10 to the power of minus 6, density is 800 divided by the, divided by what? We will be divided the molecular weight. Molecular weight, you know, it is 46 gram per mole. So convert into kg per mole. So you will get 0.46 kg per mole for ethanol. So if you compute this, you will get around close to 0.0225 Newton per meter, or equal to, we can say that it is equal to 22.5 millinewton. So it is, the experimental value is very close, the experimental value is 0.223 experimental value. Remember it is temperature specific, okay, 298 Kelvin. So at this 298 Kelvins, you know the experimental value of ethyl alcohol is 0.0223, and by this para-core method you are getting 0.225. So they are comparable, they are matches closely with each other. Okay. So this is the how you actually do, you break up the ethanol CH3, CH2, OH. So this is CH3, this is CH2, this is OH. You add up this, you get the para-core volume, and from para-core volume you get the surface tension. The next question you see, if the surface tension of water is 72.8 millinewton into meter, calculate the energy required to bring one molecule of water from the bulk to the surface. Okay. The area of a water molecule is given as 0.1 nanometer square. So it means that you know that the water surface tension at 298 is this much. So how much energy I require in extra so as to bring a particular molecule of water onto the surface. So for this you need to calculate the work done. So what is the area energy required to create 1 meter square of surface? Energy required to create, you know, 1 meter square of surface. How much it is? That you know, 72.8. So I just converted the work done into millijoule, because you know this 1 meter square means the work done area I am taking as unity. So you go 72.8 millijoule. So what is the energy required to create, let us say 0.1 nanometer square area? Okay. So the energy required, you know, for 1 meter square is this much. So what will be energy required for 0.1 nanometers cube? Simply multiply it. Okay. So if you multiply it, it means it will be 72.8 into the power of, just I am write it in millijoules, I am converted into joules into the area. What is the area? Area is nothing but 0.1 into 10 to the power of minus 9 whole square. So, it is 10 to the power of minus 9 into whole square, this will be meter square. Okay. So, what is that area? Then you add up, multiply all these in what is it? It will be equal to 72.8 into 10 raised to the power of minus 22 joules. So, in joules, this is the amount of joules you require to bring one molecule. Okay. So, if you require Avogadro number of molecules of this, you just multiply by this, you will get the total energy required. Okay. So, these are the two problems. Let us see the third problem. Now, here the problem is bit different. A water drop of 4 millimeter radius here is split into 100 tiny drops. Find the increase in surface energy. So, you have a water drop of 4 millimeter radius. Now, this particular water drop is split into 100 tiny drops. So, what it is? We have to find out, find the increase in the surface energy. So, it means that you have to first, the approach of this problem is you have to first see what is the radius of each tiny drop, that is important. So, we will see that, then we will go. So, if suppose r is the radius of the tiny drop, r is the radius of the tiny drop. Okay. If r is the radius of the tiny drop, so what you have is you just take the volume of the 4 by 3 pi into original volume is 4 millimeter cube. So, 4 means if I write down in millimeter only 4 cube. Sphere, volume of the sphere is equal to total volume of 100 drops. So, you multiply this by 100, let us say 4 by 3 pi into r cube into number of drops, that is 100. Now, from here you will get r. What is r you are getting? You solve it, all this gets cancels out. So, r is you are getting as close to 0.86 millimeter. So, what is the increase in surface area now? Increase in surface area. So, increase in surface area will nothing but what you do is surface area is 4 pi, initial surface area is 4 pi 0.86 whole square into 100. Okay. So, this is the area of surface area of one particular droplet multiplied by 100. So, total surface area of 100 droplets minus 4 pi into original this thing your area. So, the difference will give us close to around 728 millimeter square, which is equal to, you convert to your centimeter square, it will be 7.28 centimeter square. Okay. So, now what you need to do is how is the increase in surface energy now, that was the question, increase in surface energy. So, increase in surface energy is nothing but just divide this with this. So, it means the surface energy increase is nothing but it is already given that 72.8. So, the total difference in surface energy will be 7.28 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Okay, this is in meter square I have converted. Difference in area, this is the difference in area. Okay. The difference in area now is delta A. Okay. So, delta x into L you already know. Okay. Then now what you do is you multiply it with the surface tension, that is of the pure water. So, what is of pure water? Surface tension of pure water is 72. This is nothing but 527.8 into 10 to the power of minus 7 joule. So, what is this? This is nothing but the increase in surface area into surface tension, work done. Okay, now this is the work done. So, work done is nothing but what it is, increase in surface area multiplied by the surface tension of water. So, here you see I have converted into meter square. Okay. The 7.28 in centimeter square written 10 to the power minus 4, it becomes meter square, and this is what is the surface tension of water at 298. So, it is millinewton per liter. So, milli means 10 to the power minus 3, it is this is Newton, I have made it Newton per meter. So, this is Newton per meter, this is meter square. So, it will be Newton meter. So, it is joule. So, that much this is the amount of surface energy which will increase if it is split into 100 tiny drops. So, please I hope the concept of the surface tension is clear. So, we will now next move to the temperature effect on surface tension.